When Adam first cheated, he dragged his lover before me with reddened eyes and said I could deal with her as I pleased. Loving him to the core, I chose to forgive this mistake he made by accident. The second time he cheated, I sent that woman abroad and ordered her never to return. On the night of our engagement banquet, Adam strangled my neck and pressed a dagger firmly against my abdomen. With reddened eyes, he asked me, "Caroline, where is she? Did you know she's pregnant?" It was my fault for not controlling my urges. If you're angry, direct it at me. Caroline is just a young girl. She shouldn't have to bear this. I'm begging you. As long as the child is born safely, I promise never to see her again. Weren't you afraid of the pain of childbirth? Let's just keep Caroline's baby. Okay, don't worry. The child will only recognize you as its mother. That's my promise to you. The knife tip pierced the abdomen, and blood seeped from the skin. I smiled at him and revealed Caroline's whereabouts. The sound of a slammed door echoed, and trembling, I pulled out my phone to call that number. You were right this time. Can you still help me? Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful novels every day. Now the story begins. On the other end of the phone, the man cursed under his breath twice. His tone resigned. You didn't say so earlier. I'm already abroad. How am I supposed to help you? Miss Doris, no offense, but you're usually so sharp. How could you stumble over the same man twice? Did you trade all your emotional intelligence for IQ? Pressing hard on the wound in my abdomen, my voice grew increasingly bitter. Sorry, this time it's on me. For the next project, I'll give you a 30% discount. Is that enough? The person on the other end perked up instantly, clearly intrigued. Send the time and location. I'll be there on time. Remember to call me for collaborations like this next time. Fair and square for all. The complete wedding plan has been sent to Benjamin. A quick, okay, emoji came in reply. The once prepared wedding home was Adam's rampage left in complete disarray, mirroring the chaos in my heart. After tending to my wounds alone, I stumbled out of the villa. Just after checking into the hotel, Adam's call came through again. The plane's engine roared loudly, but I still keenly detected the suppressed anger in his voice. Doris, I'm on a flight abroad now and won't be able to accompany you tonight. Get some good rest on your own. I'm sorry, I was too emotional earlier. I never meant to hurt you. Is the injury serious? Should I send my personal doctor over now to check? No need. I coldly interrupted him. Adam instantly darkened his tone. Doris, didn't I tell you? What happened between me and Caroline was just an accident. I was drugged and mistook her for you. Now that it's happened, I have to take responsibility. Do you expect me to let the Goddard family's child be born abroad? You forgave me once before, didn't you? Why are you making such a fuss this time? The wedding is in a week. Take tonight to calm down. Staring at the chat history with Benjamin on the screen, I said coldly, no need. I won't marry you. Adam, I told you. I can't tolerate any betrayal. Just as I was about to hang up, he suddenly flared up with anger. Not marrying me? Are you kidding? The engagement banquet is over. And now the whole world knows that the Goddard family is to be allied with the Marshall family. And you're saying this now, using the alliance to threaten me. Doris, we grew up together. You know better than anyone what kind of person I am. If I hadn't been set up, I would never have betrayed you. They say things should not be repeated more than twice. I've only made 2 mistakes. Once the child is born, I promise Caroline will never appear before you again in her lifetime. Isn't that enough? Tears suddenly streamed down as a bitter smile curled at the corners of my lips. So what? Do you expect me to look at the child you had with another woman every day? Constantly reminding me of your mistakes. Adam, I can't do this. I'm sorry. As soon as the words were spoken, his furious roar came through the phone. Fine. Remember what you said. Don't you dare regret it. Which man of such family background doesn't have a mistress outside? I've already handed Caroline over for you to deal with. I've done my utmost. You can either accept it and get married, or if you can't accept it, just leave. Do whatever you want. The call ended, and the floor-to-ceiling window reflected my disheveled figure. This suite was once his favorite spot for dates. He said this place was filled with memories of our love. Valentine's Day, birthdays, anniversaries. This room has almost become exclusively ours. But now, I'm the only one who still remembers. The news of the broken engagement was Adam who informed my parents, and they immediately called to ask, Doris, what happened? Adam said you want to call off the engagement. This is no joke. You can't mess around like this. Burying myself deep under the covers. My voice choked with sobs. His mistress is pregnant. Which man doesn't make mistakes? Just get rid of it. I'm not calling off the engagement. Just changing the person. You know him too. Benjamin. Dad swallowed his words of persuasion. Mom was instantly struck speechless with shock. Benjamin. Weren't you sworn enemies? Have you forgotten how he almost burned your hair off when you were kids? I smiled, trying my best to keep my tone light. So I want to marry him and torment him for a lifetime. Tossing and turning. The wound in my abdomen kept me awake all night in pain. The next morning at dawn, I contacted the agent to prepare to sell the marital home. When I went back to pack my things, I saw Adam's private jet still parked on the lawn. Pushing open the door, my eyes were met with walls covered in warm photographs. Only the figure in the photos wasn't me, but Caroline. Arctic glaciers, the Eiffel Tower, the burnt Notre Dame, all these places we once visited together. He took Caroline to each one. He once said he hated taking photos the most. Being in a high position, who knows what those reporters and rivals would do with his photos. No matter how I begged and promised, we never took a photo together. But now, Caroline has become his exception. Standing beneath the photo wall, Caroline touched her barely noticeable belly with a charming smile. Adam, when the baby is born, let's take them there too. Okay, he's definitely going to love these places. Feel, he's kicking me already. The sound of the door opening caught both their attention. They turned their heads and saw me appear. Caroline dropped straight to her knees before me, clutching my waist as she begged for forgiveness. Doris, it's my fault. I didn't keep my promise to stay abroad. Please don't blame me. Okay, I just like Adam so much. I swear, I'll leave as soon as the baby is born. I won't be in your way. Before I could speak, Adam let out 2 cold laughs. There's no need to apologize to her. You were drugged when you met me. So if anything, I'm the one who owes you. He raised his eyes and looked at me. Doris, I've already found out who was behind the poisoning. That company will be shut down within a month. Caroline is also innocent, forced into wrongdoing. You shouldn't blame her. I can let this matter go if you just apologize. I looked back at him, my gaze devoid of any emotion. It just felt ridiculous. Me apologize. Adam, have you lost your mind? The next second, the hand on my waist suddenly tightened, hitting my wound. The pain made me gasp, and cold sweat drenched my entire body. Hastily pushed the person away. Didn't use much force. Caroline, but she fell straight onto the cabinet. What are you doing? Adam suddenly shoved me, and my forehead hit the doorframe hard. Blood immediately gushed out. You're the one who's gone mad. Caroline has already humbled herself before you, and I've explained everything. What more do you want? Apologize, or you can try me. Gritting her teeth and swallowing her grievances, she enunciated each word deliberately. Notschance. Apologize to your lover for you. Adam, you must be dreaming. You don't know what's good for you. Adam turned red with rage and hurriedly carried Caroline into the bedroom to rest. Before leaving, he summoned all the servants in the villa. Where are the chains? Bring them out. The mistress has lost her mind. Make her kneel in the manner to sober up properly. Don't let her get up without my order. My eyes suddenly turned bloodshot as I looked at him in disbelief. Adam, you're insane. She's just a mistress. How dare you treat me like this? This is the house I bought, but the master of the house is me. Giving me a cold glance, Adam said nothing more. The servant quickly dragged me outside the door. Blood left a long trail on the ground. The moment the villa gate closed, a sudden clap of thunder roared across the clear sky. Immediately after, a downpour began. It quickly drenched me from head to toe. Kneeling in the rain, the knife wounds on my forehead and abdomen started to burn. Consciousness gradually blurred. Looking at the supervising servant beside me, my voice was extremely weak. Let me go. Please call Adam for me. I beg you. The servant glanced at me with a mocking gaze. Standing under the eaves, a sneer covering their face. Save it. I've seen enough of your pitiful act. Mr. Adam just called for his private doctor and is now busy treating Miss Shin's wounds. Straining to look up, shadowy figures flickered on the second-floor balcony. The next second, everything went black before my eyes as I collapsed completely to the ground. In my unconscious state, I heard the servant's urgent cries. Oh no. Miss Doris has fainted. There's blood on the ground. Quickly call the doctor. Familiar footsteps approached, and an umbrella was held over my head. Adam spoke with an exceptionally cold tone. Had enough of pretending. One might think you're the one who's pregnant. Doris, it's time to temper your temper. I'm doing this for your own good. The sound of footsteps faded away as he and Caroline embraced under the eaves. Looking in my direction, Caroline nestled weakly into his arms, her voice full of grievance. Adam, Doris' sister doesn't seem to be pretending. Aren't we being too harsh on her? After all, she's your fiancé. If the Marshall family finds out. Adam turned cold. After all these years of hard work, I shouldn't have to cater to the Marshall's whims. She was the one who started the unreasonable quarrel. You still have 8 months until delivery. You can't let her bully you everywhere. Her temper must be corrected. Caroline flashed a hint of triumph in her eyes, then quickly replaced it with an innocent expression. I heard that wealthy families' arranged marriages have no love. Is it the same between you and Doris? The relentless rain poured down, washing over my pale face again and again. For a moment, I felt as if my heartbeat had stopped. The next second, Adam's emotionless voice sounded by my ear. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Being born into the Goddard family, marriage alliance is my inescapable destiny. Since I have no choice, I can only accept it. Doris is beautiful and innocent. Compared to other domineering heiresses, she's the best choice. Tears streamed down her cheeks, falling into the soil. Adam gazed affectionately at Caroline, finally showing emotion in his eyes. I thought I would spend my whole life like this. But your appearance is a gift from heaven to me. Thank you, Caroline. Piercing words stabbed through the heart one by one. Couldn't tell whether the body ached more or the heart hurt more. The memories of those childhood sweetheart days are gradually fading. What I thought was innocent childhood affection, what I believed to be deep-rooted love, turned out to be nothing but lies in the end. How laughable that in my 20 years of life, my only wish was to become his wife, to help his career sail smoothly and rise steadily to great heights. The boy who broke branches under the willow tree to make a crown for me has ultimately faded into memories. The taut nerves suddenly snapped, and blood gushed incessantly from the abdomen. Adam finally sensed something amiss and roared at the servant beside him. What are you waiting for? Go check it out. If anything happens to the madam, none of you will keep your jobs. In my unconscious state, I felt my body being shaken repeatedly. Then, I fell into a warm embrace. The familiar scent of pine seemed to transport me back to the past when it was just the two of us. But when I opened my eyes, I had already been moved into the guest room. Sitting by the bed was Adam. His face was full of anger and coldness. Why didn't you tell me you were injured? Doris, are you really this stubborn? When will you ever change your temper? Ignoring his mood, I turned to survey the room. Dilapidated and messy, worse than the servants' quarters. And as for who now occupies what was originally my master bedroom, it goes without saying. A cold smirk curled at the corner of my lips. I didn't even glance at him. My temper is none of your concern. Right now, the person you should be most concerned about is Caroline. I propped myself up and tore off the bandage wrapped around my abdomen. And one more thing. Let me remind you. This is the house I bought. Kindly have your lover move out as soon as possible. Adam was completely infuriated by the indifferent attitude. He immediately stood up and shouted angrily. Enough. Can't you just tolerate others? I let Caroline move in so you could take care of each other. Not for you to act unreasonably. Forget it. There are still 8 months until Caroline gives birth. During this time, you should calm down. When the child is born, I don't want their mother to be a madwoman. After throwing out these words, Adam left without looking back. Lifting the blanket. The wound on the knee had already been treated by the doctor. I couldn't help but sneer coldly. Everything I've suffered is because of him. And now he's pretending to be a good person. The laughter downstairs continued as I took out my phone and lowered the villa's selling price once more. I don't want to see this place of heartbreak for even a moment longer. That evening, the servants prepared a table full of dishes. Most of them were Adam's allergenic seafood. Standing on the second floor and glancing down, I recalled how Adam used to order at restaurants, unwilling to lower himself for me. It turns out that love and its absence are so glaringly obvious. Returning to what was once the master bedroom, the luggage that had belonged to me had already been thrown away. At least it saved me a lot of trouble. After hailing a ride on my phone, the moment I turned to leave, Caroline appeared before me with a tray of food. She giggled coquettishly. Doris' sister. What? Are you here to see your room? Sorry. Adam said pregnant women come first. This room has already been given to me. If you're looking for some trash, you might need to check the garbage bin. There's none here. The trash she mentioned was once Adam's gift to me. A cold smile curled at the corner of my lips as I looked at her. Caroline, what you treasure isn't necessarily a treasure to me. I can give you the house. And I can give you the man too. But remember, what's taken by force will be taken from you the same way. You're not his first woman. Nor will you be the last. Caroline turned cold and smashed the plate in her hand. Stop pretending. You're just a used-up toy for men. All bark and no bite. You don't need to yield. Adam would only choose me anyway. Don't believe me. Just watch. With that, she suddenly let out a sharp scream and tousled her long hair wildly. She ran towards the terrace and leaped down. Her only remaining arm supported her weight as the cold wind of the rainy night swept by. Caroline cried more and more miserably. Doris, sister, why are you treating me like this? Before I could react, Adam kicked the door open and barged in, rushing forward in quick strides. He pulled the person inside and tightly shielded them in his embrace. When he stood before me again, he angrily slapped me across the face. Doris, are you never going to stop? Caroline hid in his arms, both hands clutching her stomach tightly, her voice faint. Doris, sister, I've already admitted my mistake to you. Why can't you just let me go? The child is innocent. Once the baby is born, I'm willing to atone with my death. I beg you to spare the Goddard family's bloodline. I frowned tightly, just about to speak. Adam said coldly, Doris, kneel down. I looked at him in disbelief. You doubt me. Placing Caroline in the bed, Adam turned and walked towards me, his eyes filled with ferocity. Shouldn't I doubt you? First you sent Caroline abroad. Then you pushed her on purpose. This is already the third time. Doris, how can you expect me to trust you? All the love between them vanished in that instant. Without giving me a chance to explain, Adam carried Caroline and quickly left the villa. I cut up and burned every single photo on the wall. At midnight, the agent sent a message. Miss Doris, someone wants to buy the house at the original price. No need for your discount. When would you have time to sign the contract? Let's sign it tomorrow. Fire all the servants at the villa. For an entire week, Adam never showed up again. The hospital occasionally released photos of him being secretly taken by passers-by. He was either registering at the obstetrics and gynecology department or picking up medicine for Caroline on the first floor. On the morning of the wedding day, Adam drove the wedding car to the villa to pick me up. Opening the door, I was met with an unfamiliar face. His brows instantly furrowed tightly. Doris, who are you? The assistant hurried over from behind, panting heavily. Mr. Adam, it's a mistake. It's a mistake. This house has already been sold by Miss Doris. Miss Doris is getting married to the Lucian family today. As soon as the words were spoken, Adam instantly turned pale. How is this possible? Taking a few steps back, he raised his eyes to carefully examine the villa. The assistant's words echoed in his ears. Adam could barely keep his balance as his body swayed uncontrollably. Realizing what had happened, he suddenly rushed to his assistant and tightly grasped his neck with both hands. The tone carried uncontrollable anger as he demanded, What did you say? Doris is going to marry into the Lucian family. Is she out of her mind? The Lucian family has been at odds with me. Everyone in the capital's social circle knows this. This must be Doris acting out of anger towards me, deliberately spreading false rumors. What are you waiting for? Investigate this immediately. The wedding is about to start. If you can't find Doris, then get the hell back where you came from. The assistant didn't expect him to lose his temper and was too frightened to even breathe loudly, quickly turning to leave. Before leaving, the assistant kindly forwarded a video to Adam. It showed the wedding scene of the alliance between Lucian's family and Marshall's family. He was just too busy confronting the new homeowners, convinced they were Doris hired actors. Taking a deep breath, Adam ignored their attempts to stop him and barged straight into the house. The renovations they had done together had already been torn down. Not a trace of their presence remained. The wall full of photos had also vanished without a trace, as if they had never existed. The male homeowner panicked and quickly shouted from behind. Who are you? I bought this house a week ago. If you don't leave now, I'll call the police. Adam seemed not to hear, frantically searching every corner of the villa. The room he once lived in has changed its style. No trace of Doris could be found. After searching every corner, Adam completely lost all his strength. He collapsed onto the floor, looking utterly disheveled. How could this happen? Doris, you still haven't forgiven me. At the wedding venue, an employee called to ask when the bride would arrive. Adam said nothing and directly hung up. A chat window that hadn't been opened for a week appeared before his eyes. His hands trembled as he pressed the keyboard. He couldn't believe Doris would actually run away from the wedding. She had clearly said that her greatest wish in this life was to marry him. This past week, he had been busy accompanying Caroline at the hospital. Caroline said it's normal for girls to have tempers, and she would calm down in a couple of days. Following her advice, he chose to give Doris the cold shoulder. But unexpectedly, after 7 days without contact, he had already lost the chance to negotiate with her. "Where are you, Doris? I came to pick you up. Why did you sell the house? Why didn't you tell me? Can I call you? Please don't be like this. I can explain everything to you. My feelings for you have never changed." Tears suddenly blurred his vision. He had never felt so panicked as in this moment. 3 messages were sent in quick succession, carrying all the hope in his heart. He wiped away his tears with force, only to see 3 red exclamation marks responding to him on the screen. Doris blocked him. For a moment, his heart almost stopped beating. Even every breath made his insides ache terribly. He dialed that number over and over again in disbelief. Doris flickered on and off the screen, off and on again. He lost count of how many times he had called. A smile tugged at the corner of his lips, while tears fell heavily into the furrows. His despondent gaze drifted toward the door, where the lawn they had tended together just a month ago lay. They had planned to plant Doris's favorite blue roses, but now, the lawn had been crushed by his private jet, stripped of all vitality, just like his current state of mind. Seeing his emotions finally stabilize, the male homeowner slowly approached and handed him a glass of water. "Are you looking for the previous homeowner? She sold the house to me a week ago. I heard she got a better new house for her wedding, and today is her wedding day. You don't need to come here anymore. Rest for a while and then leave." Something in those words must have triggered him. Adam suddenly stood up and punched him hard in the face. "Get out. You're not qualified to talk to me. This house is the marital home I shared with Doris. Whatever price you paid for it, I'll offer 10 times that amount. Get out now. Don't let me see you again without my permission." The male homeowner collapsed on the spot, clutching his bleeding nose in pain. Adam ignored him and immediately called his bodyguards to throw them out. The spacious villa soon had only him left inside. Recalling the words of his assistant and the unfamiliar man, Adam tremblingly pulled out his phone, attempting to search online for the Marshall family's marriage alliance news. Just then, he noticed the message sent by his assistant. The video opened, revealing a large wedding photo filling the screen. Benjamin held Doris in a tight embrace. Behind them stretched an endless expanse of sea and sky. The image stabbed deeply into his eyes. Adam raised his hand, about to smash his phone to pieces. Yet the motion froze mid-air. Remembering his promise to Marshall's parents, he made the call almost pleadingly. Yes, Marshall's parents had always favored him, only recognized him as the son-in-law, as long as they could forgive him. There was no end between him and Doris. The call connected, and regardless of whether the other side could see, Adam knelt straight down in the direction of the phone. "Uncle, Auntie, where is Doris? Didn't we agree to get married today? Why are you treating me like this? Where is she? I want to see her." A choked voice came through. The other end remained silent for a long time, until the wedding march sounded in his ears, the symphony pounding heavily against his chest, one beat after another. Adam was on the verge of collapse. His forehead slammed violently into the ground. "Uncle, Auntie, I know I was wrong. I beg you, please give me one more chance. I promised to take good care of Doris. Doris said she would only marry me in this lifetime. How could you bear to let her marry someone she doesn't love?" Blood stained his vision. Opposite them, the Marshalls finally showed signs of relenting. "Adam, it's not that we won't help you, but we must ask, is it true you have another woman outside? And that she's pregnant?" The atmosphere suddenly fell into silence. Adam spoke hoarsely, each word uttered with great difficulty. "Yes, but I didn't mean to. Do you like Doris just because of the marriage arrangement between our families and the company collaboration? Yes or no?" Doris's dad pressed forward relentlessly, as if trying to tear away the fig leaf of his dignity. Guilt and anguish overwhelmed him completely. The answer played over and over in his mind, yet those words of denial simply wouldn't leave his lips. For years, he refused to acknowledge his feelings for Doris. It seemed that falling in love with Doris would tarnish the dignity of the young master of the Goddard family, and his efforts on company projects. Those achievements would no longer seem pure. He wasn't unaware of his special feelings toward Doris. When he discovered his hidden affection, He deliberately drowned his sorrows in alcohol and fell into the rival's trap. It was the first time Doris confronted about his infidelity. It was also the precaution he had mentally prepared for himself. As expected, Doris chose to forgive, but the look in her eyes no longer held the same fervor as before. At that time, he was in agony, torn between confession and continuation, suffering immensely. Friends noticed his unusual behavior and mocked him relentlessly. The dignified Goddard family heir is actually a lovesick fool. Those words became a poisonous thorn piercing his heart. My father's teachings from childhood still echo in my ears. The heir of the Goddard family needs neither cowards nor romantics. Business has no room for emotions. Your weaknesses will only become others' leverage. Adam ultimately chose to carry on. Getting Caroline pregnant was his first step. But now, he regretted it. No. He slowly uttered these two words. Adam felt as if all the strength had been drained from his body. Only frustration and dejection remained. He had failed to live up to his father's expectations. Perhaps he would never be capable of such ruthlessness, such decisive action in his entire life. But at this moment, all he wanted was Doris. Uttering this answer, he let out a long sigh of relief, waiting for Doris's dad's final judgment. The other party seemed unprepared for this outcome, at a loss for words. After a long while, Doris's dad let out a deep sigh. I can send you the address, but promise me that no matter what Doris chooses, you'll respect her decision. I just don't want my daughter to have any regrets. The earlier breakdown vanished without a trace. Adam suddenly stood up, kicking aside a scattering of cigarette butts. All right. I'm confident I can make Doris choose me. Thank you, Uncle. Excitement and exhilaration nearly overwhelmed his mind. Adam looked out at the lawn outside the window at this moment, feeling nothing but hope. Out with the old, in with the new. It's just a patch of grass. Doris could have whatever she liked, and he'd planned it for her in the future. If she didn't want children, he'd take Caroline for the procedure and get a vasectomy himself. If she wanted children, he'd sign an agreement, leaving all his assets to her and their child, ensuring their complete security. The sky, overcast for so long, finally cleared at this moment. Adam felt as if the gloom in his heart had also been dispelled. If he had faced his feelings earlier, perhaps he and Doris wouldn't have taken so many detours. Soon, Doris's dad sent the location of the hotel. It is a property under Lucien's family. The smile froze on his face. Before he could board the wedding car again, Caroline's call came through. Adam, when will the wedding ceremony end? Can I wait for you at the prenatal checkup? You promised to accompany me. With the same coquettish tone as before. This time Adam didn't give her the response she was hoping for. I'll have my assistant go with you. Don't bother me today. With those words, he was about to hang up. Caroline grew frantic, weeping uncontrollably. Adam, what's wrong? Is Doris angry with me again? It's all my fault. I can go to the wedding venue and kneel to apologize to her. I'll take a taxi there right now. If I had known it would come to this, I shouldn't have called you when she pushed me. Maybe if I had just fallen, she would have been satisfied. No, I shouldn't have returned to the country in the first place. I should have listened to her and stayed abroad to give birth. It's my fault you two argued. It's my fault your relationship was affected. Not mentioning it was fine. But the moment he recalled everything that happened that day, Adam instantly flushed with anger. He must have been out of his mind back then to believe Doris was the vicious woman she was made out to be. Enough. You know exactly how you felt that day. Doris is not that kind of person, and she would never lay a hand on you. Do you really think your child would still be here otherwise? You're being too naive. On the way abroad, she has 1,000 ways to kill you. Caroline, this is my final warning to you. Behave, or don't blame me for turning against you. Without waiting for Caroline's response, he hung up the phone directly. The next second, the assistant sent a location. It's exactly the same as Doris's dad. Remembering Caroline's actions, Adam sent a message to the assistant. Go to the hospital and get rid of Caroline. Don't let her say anything she shouldn't. After getting in the car, he sped all the way to the hotel's location. While waiting at a red light, he saw students crossing the street in front of his car. A boy took off his school uniform and held it over a girl's head to shield her from the glaring sunlight. I'm gonna copy your homework again today. Don't tell the teacher, or I won't bring you that cupcake. Make it chocolate, or no deal. The girl's tsundere attitude was exactly like Doris back in the day. Back then, she didn't get along with Benjamin, and Benjamin kept picking on her every day. either reporting her for sneaking snacks in class or tattling on her for skipping running during PE. Every time in a crisis, it was Adam who stepped in to resolve it for her. Back then, Doris proudly lifted her chin and stood before him. This was your own choice to help me. No complaining to my parents when we get back. Adam nodded repeatedly, stuffing the mini egg tarts she loved into her hands. Your wish is my command. Memories he thought he had long forgotten became crystal clear at this moment. Young as he was, he didn't have much pocket money. Every time I buy Doris snacks, it has to come from my part-time earnings. When his father found out, he threatened to discipline him with the family's traditional punishment. He was beaten so severely that he could barely walk straight. Doris broke off a tree branch and handed it to him, mimicking his limp. Adam, here's your cane. Don't forget it. The exaggerated manner made him burst into laughter. He fell to the ground, but his leg didn't hurt anymore. As the light turned green, Adam curved his lips into a smile. His past with Doris is too much to recount. He absolutely cannot lose. The Maybach sped along the road. Just 1 second before the wedding began, he finally rushed into the hotel. All the guests' eyes fell upon him. Lucien's family didn't recognize him, but Marshall's family knew him all too well. Immediately showing a look of disdain, he angrily scolded the waiter. How is the security at the entrance doing their job? How can they let any trash in? Do they not want their jobs anymore? Get him out of here right now. A scumbag who can't make up his mind doesn't deserve to be at Doris's wedding. The person speaking is Doris's close relative. Adam didn't dare to argue with them and could only apologize repeatedly. Doris's dad caught sight of his figure at first glance and sighed repeatedly. You came after all. Adam found me while I was making final mental preparations behind the scenes. The curtain was abruptly pulled aside, revealing a familiar face. His eyes were red-rimmed, gazing at me with utmost devotion. Doris, it's me. I've come. I gave a faint glance, unable to suppress a silent curse in my heart. A guest is a guest, and guests are outside. Please step aside. The hand that was lowering the curtain was suddenly gripped tightly by him. Adam said with a trembling voice, I'm here to take you home. Today is our wedding day. Have you forgotten? If you've forgotten, why are you wearing the bracelet I gave you? Doris, I know I was wrong. I came here to explain. Before I could finish, my wrist was Benjamin's pulled back, my body tightly shielded in his embrace. Mr. Adam, what an honor to have you grace us with your presence. We weren't prepared to welcome such a distinguished guest. The guests are outside. You're frightening my bride. Oh right. Were you just talking about this bracelet? Benjamin lifted my wrist and gave it a little shake. You bought a fake, while I purchased the genuine article at an auction. My wife's jewelry should naturally be chosen by me. Mr. Adam, please leave. Adam turned cold, his voice icy to the extreme. Doris is my bride. It's mine now. Benjamin refused to admit defeat, and the two stood off backstage. As the symphony began, I shoved Adam out onto the stage. Don't waste time with him. It's starting. My wife's methods are truly impressive. I'm in awe. Ignoring Benjamin's sneaky expression, I gently lifted a corner of the curtain, seeing Adam already restrained by bodyguards below the stage. I thought cutting off my feelings for him would cost me at least half my life. But when the time to part truly came, I realized it wasn't that difficult after all. What I thought was love turned out to be just a long-standing habit. From the moment of his first betrayal, the relationship was already dead. It was only after Caroline became pregnant that the burial took place, accompanied by the symphony. That piercing gaze grew increasingly intense. Adam stood just like that below the stage, witnessing my hand being placed in another man's. From initial rage and loss of control to later calm and silence, the emotions in his eyes gradually faded, as if the light had gone out forever. The wedding ceremony concluded. Adam was finally released by the bodyguards. He cornered me at the end of the hallway, advancing step by step as I retreated. What do you really want? I want you to marry me, to be with me. Adam had bloodshot eyes, his gaze filled with obsession and a dangerous aura. I pushed my hands hard against him, keeping him at a distance. Enough. Adam, we're over. Don't you get it? It's over. The next second, Adam reached out and began slapping himself hard across the face with both hands. The sharp sound of slaps rang out continuously. No one knew how long it lasted, but his cheeks were swollen and red, almost to the point of bleeding. I know I was wrong. Doris, please, give me a chance to make it right. You only married Benjamin to spite me, didn't you? You don't even like him. Why are you being so hard on yourself? I've already taken care of Caroline's child. No one will stand between us anymore. I don't ask for your forgiveness. Just a chance to make amends. I swear I'll never look at another woman again. You'll be my only wife." With a forceful shove, Adam crashed heavily to the ground. I laughed instead. My dry eye sockets ached terribly. "Adam, who do you think you are? You cheat and expect me to forgive you with just a word. You get someone pregnant and expect me to raise your bastard with just a word. And now that I'm married, you want me to call off the wedding. You really think too highly of yourself. I did love you once, but that was all in the past. From the moment you stabbed my belly with a knife. From the moment you turned against me for Caroline. From the moment you forced me to kneel. All my feelings for you vanished completely. Now I am very happy. And I wish you and Caroline the same happiness." He roared in a broken voice. "No, it's not like that. I never loved Caroline. The one I've always liked is you. I was just afraid others would look down on me, calling me a useless man who climbed up by relying on a woman." Before he could finish, I coldly interrupted. "I don't care about these explanations, and I care even less about your child. Adam, I can love, and I can lose. Please don't appear in front of me again." With those words, I walked away without waiting for his reaction. I turned and walked away without hesitation. In the distance, Benjamin held out flowers with a smile, placing them in my hands.